making your budgets in line with your expectations. Well, I wanted to talk about budgets. How do you get your client in line with the budgets? Because, man, I'm finding people's expectations are out of whack. Even my expectations sometimes are out of whack, especially over the past 5 years. My expectations have been, I have to keep changing what I'm telling the clients about what they need to do to invest in their home to create like the vision that they have.
Yes, I totally agree. This is a good topic for today. This is a very good topic. So, because I've been experiencing this as well with some prospects that have been reaching out to me, and then I'll meet with them about what their project is, and they just really don't have an idea of how much it's going to cost. So I have to
Yeah.
educate them. And then they're shocked. They're like, oh my God, that sounds so high.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but based on what you're showing me, if it's like a custom piece of furniture, and I'm explaining like all the different things that we need to do, I'm like, but if we want to bring the budget down, then we can make some adjustments, but they don't want to budge on the design.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but those are custom made pieces. It's not anything we can get stock because you want an arch or something built in or whatever the case is.
Right. Yep. Um, yeah, they come like, and of course, why should the clients know what the cost is? They shouldn't, or it would be, you know, I'd be impressed if they did, because even myself being in the industry, and doing this every day, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that just went up. This is going up. When I did the renovation 6 months ago, it wasn't, it
Yeah.
was 40,000, and the same thing I'm doing now at 50.
Yeah. No, I agree with that because last October, November, I had three furnishing projects going on all at the same time. So I was, ordering a ton of furniture, lighting, decorative, all the things. And if I go back now and look at the exact same things that I got less than a year ago, those prices have gone up. I want to say like 20-30%, which is so crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, crazy, not crazy. Things are going up. Like, and that's one of the things I say to clients. I'm like, if you think it's expensive now, just wait. Just wait for 6 months. Just
Exactly.
wait in a year. It's not going down. I have yet to find a place that has said, we're lowering our prices. They just
Right.
aren't.
They're not going to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. Nobody's doing it because the cost of doing business, the cost of doing business is, expensive. And I think a lot of clients, or maybe, I think it's maybe the quality of clients some of them think that, oh, it's just so easy. All you have to do is show up and, I just need a few things, and it's pretty simple. But
Yeah.
it isn't, because, it's not, because like there are a couple of few things. I'll say, so I was talking to this prospect, and like, so how do you see that budget being spent? He was saying $20K to furnish this room, which was like 20 by 18 or something like that. I said, well, how do you see that budget being spent? Because I see that as being about 75,000.
Right.
Like, well, I need a bed. That's $1,000, and a couple of chairs, and that's 1,500 each. And what else is sofa? $3,000, and a coffee table, 1,000. You rattle off what else? Bedside tables, and because it was, it was a seating, like a loft area, so you wanted to have a bed and stuff.
Okay.
But he didn't mention the carpet. He didn't mention lighting. He didn't mention the fact that like the walls needed to be painted or papered or some application. He didn't talk about, well, never mind the fact that he's talking about $1,000 bed. I'm not saying you can't get $1,000 bed. You can. Go on a Wayfair, you can find $1,000 bed. That $1,000 bed is going to break down. It's a piece of junk. Yeah, it looks pretty, but it's technically a piece of junk. Like, seriously, it is a piece of junk. You know where I find these $1,000 beds? In Airbnbs. You go to the Airbnb and they bought this cheap bed.
Yes. And in my opinion, Airbnbs need to have a much higher quality of furniture because of the wear and tear of all these different people coming in and using like the couches and the front. I I can't.
Pieces, yeah. You
Yes.
want them to you want to have longevity, and
Yes.
that's part of it. People talk about sustainability. Oh, now
Yeah.
we're let's say going way off on a tangent here, but
Yeah.
that is part of sustainability is to put your money into pieces that are going to have longevity, not just in terms of durability, but also in terms of the design continuing long term, as long as possible. Like, yes, things go out of style. And so if you're going on and getting some trendy thing for $1,000 on Wayfair, I guarantee in 3 years, not only is it going to look like garbage, but it's also gonna be passé, like, right now, what is the rage? The rage is, like, farmhouse modern. Well, it's
Isn't that over?
it's come and
I
gone,
I
right,
hope it's
people? Come on.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's over before you even know it's happened, and
Yeah.
especially if you're working in a project, it's by the time you finish that room, that trend that you're so stuck on is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel old and dated. Now, I'm not saying that farmhouse modern, it can't look good or can't have longevity, but it's in that it's in the selection
It's
of the
how you mix
pieces.
everything together
Exactly.
and layer pieces in and curate it so it doesn't look specific to one style. That's the way I like to do it.
Specific to a style, but not specific,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you're hiring your interior designer. I make sure I'm on the same page with the client when I get started. So that not only does that mean that, okay, here's my design fee, but here's also the amount that you are required to invest to create this room. And if
Create the look that they want, right? Otherwise, they have to compromise on certain aspects of it, like where to invest, where to splurge. Like we can maximize the budget, but there has to be kind of a give and a take, you know?
exactly, we agree on the budget input. And lots of times I say to the client, hey, it's maybe a transitioning it in, as in we're going to have a design. We're going to start with the big pieces. Then the next stage, we're just going to stage it out. And rather than it being done in 6 months, it's going to take maybe 2 years because we'll do the first stage now and then we'll add the rest of it later. But we're working in the design. We're not sort of starting something now and then we'll decide later we'll add wallpaper and do that and do this. No, it's like we're doing it all together. We have this vision and then we'll stage it
And you're
out.
just
Now,
breaking it down in different phases.
right. I'm like, okay. So that's where you get into the appropriation of the budget, where to spend the money, where you're going to get your best bang, where you can go, okay, where you can go cheap and cheery,
Yeah.
but where you should be like a bed. I'm sorry, but if that is a bed that's being used, every day, 8 hours a day, better get a good bed. Good
Mm.
bed that lasts and looks
And
good.
it's one of the biggest pieces in the room, so
Uh-huh.
it's the focal point too. Same thing with seating, sectional, sofas, chairs,
Yeah.
those you want to invest in and have them be better quality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love like good rugs,
Good
really
carpets.
good
Yeah.
quality carpets.
Well, that I do too, but as a vegan, that would be the hardest thing to specify because area carpets that are not wool, that are good quality, are
Yeah.
harder to find. Like I can find them, or we're
Yeah.
getting into custom, which is great because custom is super great, but it is way more expensive. Colorfully Mel says fashion trend culture has definitely changed where people put value in their pieces. Why buy something cheap that everyone else have when you can have something beautiful and unique that lasts? Correct.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, we're agreed on that. It's our job to educate without, like, mansplaining, womansplaining, right? Like, how do you get the client on the same page with, without offending them? You
Yeah.
just right? That
Yeah.
that's that takes some tact and skill.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do to not offend them about, like, because we
I
have to, I always say, "What's your budget?" Not as in I'm gonna, like, shame you with that, but, okay, what's the conversation starter? How do we get started?
Yeah. Um, well, just thinking of, like, this potential client that I had, recently, she wanted to do, a built-in area in her home, like, redo her pantry, knock walls down, completely redo the inside, build a bar on the outside. So when I, took into consideration all the inspiration photos that she showed me, everything she wanted it to be a statement piece, she wanted, an art store, all these different things. I'm like, okay, so the budget for this, between the materials, the labor, the construction, everything, you're gonna be in like the 55 to $60,000 range. And of course, she was like, that's really high. That's like double what we wanted to spend. So I was like, okay, then let's eliminate one of them. Let's either not do the pantry or not do the built-in bar. Let's, and just kind of do it in a phase. Um, but once you add in, like, and then I broke it down for her. I was like, okay, well, here's your cabinetry, here's your countertop, here's your install, your glass, like all these different pieces that most clients aren't thinking about. I kind of try to break it down. So it's like, okay, these are all of the things that are included in this. We need to have a contractor knock this wall down, build another wall, reframe the door, get a custom door. Now the door has to be installed. Like, these are all of the costs. Which, when you break it down like that, totally makes sense, right? But sometimes, they just have a number in mind and they don't want to go above that. So I was like, okay, well, if we, you know, compromise on certain areas, maybe it's not an arch door, maybe it's a regular rectangle door, because that can be less expensive. We don't have to rechange the whole, archway. But she's like, "But I want the arch, but I want the built-in, but I'm like, "Okay, well then, but that's where we that's where we are with the budget." I mean, you know, so
Yeah, those are all wonderful things, the
yeah.
arched doorways, custom cabinetry. Yeah, I mean, and then there's a domino effect. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you have to break down the wall. Okay, great. All right, but then you do have to paint, and you have to paint on the other side too of the
Yeah.
wall,
And you're gonna
which
have tile floor that's missing when you break down the wall and you move it, so now we have to redo the floor.
yeah,
There's all of these different elements. We have
yeah.
to put all the molding back. We're taking it down, get new
Right.
molding, put it like, there's all of these different
Yeah.
elements that
And yes, we did it for this little room, but that doorway opens into the other room, and now that whole wall has to be painted. And, like, it's not a lot, but add that in, another
right,
$1,000, $500,
right.
$1,000.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I just try to, break it down with all of the different elements. And what I started doing is, for kitchen and bathroom, I have like a pretty extensive checklist of every single decision that needs to be made when you're doing like a kitchen remodel or a bathroom. Because sometimes, people are like, oh, it's just a small bathroom. Whether it's a small bathroom or a big bathroom is still mostly all of the same elements that we're working on. So, you know,
Yeah,
just
well,
because
you
it's
need
a
all those
smaller
puzzle pieces,
bathroom.
right? Like, if
Yeah,
you're gonna do a bathroom, you can't say, "I'll just do the sink this year, and next year I'll put in the toilet, and then I'll put in the shower." Like, you can't do that. Whereas, like, a living room, for instance, you can say, "Look, I'll get the sectional, and
mm,
then we'll hold off on the other pieces," right? Okay, get the sectional. Now we get the 2 chairs and the coffee table. Okay,
yeah,
but you can't really do that with a kitchen and a bathroom. Like, "I
no,
just won't do the stove this year." Okay, well, that doesn't really make any sense, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the new showroom that we're opening it's interior design and custom millwork and custom tapestry, right? So, we've been meeting with a lot of like builders and contractors here, to be a resource for them for custom millwork, because there's not really a lot of companies here that do that in-house, where they have a workshop here and everything's actually made here.
Right.
And so we're really trying to get the word out, even to just clients, to say, reach out to us directly if you need any kind of kitchen remodel, cabinetry, because, you're cutting out the middleman. So it's much less expensive for them if they reach out to us directly than if you're going through another company that's subcontracting us or a contractor or builder who's then going to hire us.
Yeah.
So that's been a little tricky too, just kind of creating awareness and trying to get to their clients directly,
Right. Yeah.
that they can come to us and then we're gonna quote you the kitchen at a price that's much less than if you went through a contractor, you know? So that's been challenging.
Right. Well, I think this is something we always talk about. The thing is educating the contractor too, because the contractors, they want, and I understand it. They want to get these jobs, and they don't want to say, well, like a kitchen. Well, you're going to need an interior designer. They're just like, okay, we're just going to make it do. These are the decisions you have to make. But a homeowner who hasn't done a renovation, isn't familiar, is working, has kids, has family, has life. Like, they're not, all these decisions that have to be made, then that gets thrown back on the contractor. And the contractor is thinking, okay, well, I'm going to get this job because, the price is good, etc. But the
Yeah.
fact is that you also are going to get snowed in with being responsible for having all these decisions made, or you're going to be making the decisions for a space um, that you just don't want to be doing the decisions because you're a contractor, you're not a designer. And
Yeah.
so the contractor then falls back on, okay, what did I do before that worked? And so you're not, the client is missing out because they're stuck to, the tried and true, which is usually dull and done. But
Yeah. There's so many other options that they're missing
right.
out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know, and then there's the whole, the contractor doesn't think about the time that is involved in these design decisions, like all the details that they have to. Oh yeah, by the way, you need hardware. Oh, by the way, you need the backsplash. Oh, by the way, what do you want to do for the inserts? You want a drawer? You want a
Yes.
door?
All
Do you want?
the Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we can sit down with the client and go through every cabinet and okay, what's going to go in here? How are we organizing? This way it's super functional.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. Not only that, but it's like we're talking to them. We're talking to them as in, okay, so how do you live your life? How do you
yeah.
use a kitchen? Like, how do you feel about it when you're in the kitchen? The
Yeah.
contractor's like, well, we'll bang out this wall, build this, and put that together. They're like building blocks. And that's great because you need a contractor to do that. But
Yeah.
they're not going to say, oh, based on the way that you live, you should have two sinks and two dishwashers.
Yeah. Yeah. We dive much deeper into the process and really think about every single detail. So,
Yeah. So I can see you having an issue with the contractors who
yeah.
like, but it's education. Do not watch HGTV if you want to be educated. Okay. Do not, because it's not going to tell you anything other than the fact that, oh, it could have been done in 30 minutes for half the price. Well, I saw it on HGTV and it was only 20,000. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they don't take into account any of the time that's required. It's like, so your showroom is coming along,
It's coming along.
and anything else exciting about that? You were having some water issues. Did it get resolved?
It did get resolved. So we were able to resume painting. So we had the painting finished. Next is going to be the floors going in. Just want to make sure the water issue is solved, which I'm pretty sure it is by now. So then we can put the floors in. So, and then we'll be ready to start bringing in all the facility work. Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting, but, like, the time is going so quick because we were hoping by sometime October we'd have, like, part of it done, but I'm like, "Oh my god, it's mid-September, like, how did that happen?" Um, but we'll see. We'll get a lot done in the next month, like 1 to 2 months.
Well, you have your vision and you've
Yeah.
created the vision, and I find that when you've got your vision and then it's like and you start plugging the pieces, it's like it's easy to make decisions because it's
Yeah.
like, does it go to the vision or does it not meet the vision that you want? Like, and then you can make compromises based on like budget, etc., and say, okay, well, we'll I don't know, we'll do this cabinet instead of that cabinet because it's going to show the same amount of detail, um, but it's going to be less work and we can get it done or whatever, whatever the
Yeah.
scoop is. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Well, that's
are
good.
you getting ready for your trip?
I am. I'm getting ready. Going away. Finally, I got a vacay coming up.
That's
This week
exciting.
I'm very excited. I'm headed off to Cairo. So
And you leave Thursday, right?
I leave
Thursday.
Thursday. Yep. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
Um, I have a bunch of projects that I'm working on, which actually are quite interesting because they're clients that are signing on to design elements and ideas. So I've got a house, big house that we're doing sort of room by room. It's a lot. I spent a couple hours with the client yesterday. It's
Mhm.
overwhelming, I just am addressing, it's already built. It was like a spec home. So he
Okay.
wants to upgrade some of the pieces in it.
Mhm.
And, I mean, just if you want to what I find is like, okay, yes, I can upgrade this very crappy, vanity, but
Mhm.
it's not just, okay, we replace the vanity. It's also like vanity, vanity top, faucet. Now the room is painted white, right? So
Mhm.
I'm like, how do we address that? Make it interesting.
Yeah.
And a mirror, lighting. So I've got wallpaper. So I'm doing a lots of like, okay, pulling it all together. So this vanity really becomes
Yeah.
design. I
Yeah.
mean, it was designed to start with, but it's not just replacement of the vanity, especially for a powder room, because in the powder room you have a vanity and a
Mhm.
toilet. You, so,
Yeah.
so it's a lot, but it's fun and we're moving forward with that.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah. And then I got a smaller project in the city. Most of the pieces are there, but they're kind of like all scattered. So I'm just
Okay.
pulling it together. It's going to make a big difference. So yeah, it's amazing how sometimes just going in and moving pieces around and rethinking the space. And then I have to supplement with a couple of more pieces, window treatments, all those little details that makes the place look luxurious, and I'm explaining to the client, um, that luxury is also about the sound in the room. There's nothing luxurious about a big room that is banging and echoing about and, it sounds like you're in a like a like a I don't know, a cave or something. Whereas like if when you go whereas like you go into really like a luxe hotel or luxe hotel room or a luxury space like a restaurant and you get this sort of boom, like this really deep, like padded, yeah, cozy padded sound that feels, it just feels luxurious. Yeah. And calming and peaceful. So, it's how do you create that pieces, carpets, window treatments. I mean, get as much in there that can stop bouncing the sound around. So I got that. Got a home down at the shore. I'm working on the layout. So with the architect, this is a great project because she hasn't even built it. She's pulled me in. The architect had some plans. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see improvement here. Like, let's. So that's fun because now we haven't even started making the room. Whereas like this house that I'm doing for my client, he built it and he pulled me in after. Like he already built it. He got to change some of the specs along the way, and I wish he had pulled me in then because it would have saved him some money and time.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a bedroom suite. that I'm still working on. A little more natural, bohemian. So that's fun. All kind of different styles.
Good.
So pull all that together before I leave on Thursday.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we are going to pick this back up in 2 weeks
Not
when
next
you're
week, but the following week. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Somebody recommended that, said, I think you better take your client to a super expensive showroom than offer him the price after. Yeah. And I was thinking, I didn't mention it, but I don't take my clients to showrooms. Because it can be so distracting. You start
And
with the vision
overwhelming
and overwhelming.
for them.
They want to see everything, but then
Get
they're like
confused
blinded.
and they're all over the place.
Yeah. So for the most part, I find that taking them to a showroom doesn't work. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me. They get distracted and then they're off on something else, and then you have to spend all this time to corral
They
them
have to
back
be
onto
very
the vision.
decisive, a very decisive client to be able to do that. I used to do that years ago with some of my New York clients. I would take them to showrooms, but they like to shop and it was fun when I did that. And so it depends on the client. Also, they wanted to do it. So a lot of clients, they're hiring you because they don't have the time to do it. So I don't really do that now much. But earlier on in my career, I did that and I did actually enjoy it with a lot of the clients that I did it with. But I just feel like as people, their schedules are hectic, work, family, they don't have time. And so the best way is to just let us do it, pull selections, bring it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only reason I would take them to a showroom is we're going to do a sit test. They want to sit on something. Often the piece of furniture isn't theirs, but they'll have a piece of furniture, like upholstered furniture, obviously, but by the same manufacturer. So that the good quality manufacturer is going to have the same standards throughout. So if this is their, firm or soft or, melt into seat, whatever it is, this is how it's going to feel in terms of. So that's when I'll do that. I'll take them for that reason. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. Someone asked, what's the biggest challenge when you are deciding the color theme of the project? I mean, for me, it comes down to really talking to the client and getting a sense of, you know, their vision and what they like and what color. Because I've had certain clients where, they like cool colors, they don't like warm colors. So it just depends. I've had clients that want neutrals, but they don't want white. So they're open. So that's when you really have to dive into talking to the client, maybe showing them some inspiration photos and ask them, what is it you like about this? What do you not like about this? And then as the designer, it's our job to figure out what is the right color theme for this client based on all of the things that we know about them and what they like and what they want the end result to be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've never really had a problem. I certainly don't.
Yeah, me either.
But that's mainly because all that conversation is way before creating the vision. And then I have,
It's like one of the initial conversations that you're having with the client is to
what's your
get
favorite
this.
color?
Yeah. And what colors do you not like? You
Yeah.
always want to ask them too what colors they don't like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, well, I don't really like color. And I'm like, okay, because you're wearing beautiful blues. Like, do you like, oh, yeah, I love blue. So sometimes it's also being like taking into some of the visual cues. I go into their house and every single piece of color in their house is blue. Well, do you like blue? Oh, yeah, I love blue. Okay, well, that's something that we incorporate. Now, you don't even have to just do one color blue. Like, you don't pick one color blue and that's it. You take the whole spectrum of blues, right? And then you can weave the teal, and then you can go all the way down to the yellows and, get purpley blues. And, so it gives you a vast, like, way more breadth and dimension in your space by okay, well, we're just doing navy blue. It's either white and navy blue. No, it's like white and the rainbow of blues. Hi, what's your inspiration for designs? Another question here from Kartik.
That is so broad. That is like kind of a hard question to answer because it really depends.
Mhm.
It
Um,
depends on the
yeah, I
project.
mean, really, the inspiration is the client. And it can be things that they have in their home. It could be pieces that they show you. Oh, I really like this art. Or um, it could be some of their inspo photos that you're looking at. And then, I find mixing that with the functionality of the room, they're like, well, I really want to be able to do this in the room. Okay. Because function really precedes beauty.
At the end of the day, it comes down to it starts and ends with the client, and you have to dive deep enough into getting to know them and their life and what they like for it to be a successful design. I mean, it's not about pushing your what you like onto them. It's about really finding out what's going to work for them.
Right.
So
Unless
it
you're
has
coming
to be the
unless you have
client.
yeah, I mean, I don't work like that. I work for each client. Yes, I have a specific look that I love, but if, I have lots of different styles that I've done on my portfolio. Um, so if you have one style and then that's what you're presenting and people are coming to you for that, that's one thing. I usually don't work like that. I mean, I think people come to me because they see the color. So I like to incorporate color in my work. And I usually push my clients, a little bit out of their comfort zone because that's what we're here for. Like you don't know until you see it. So when I come to a presentation, in fact, I just did a presentation on Friday. It's like, I didn't even know this stuff existed, was what my client said. I'm like, yeah, of course, because this is not stuff you're gonna see out. Um, is not stuff that you're gonna see out, you know, in your regular showrooms, like Crate and Barrel or Restoration Hardware. These are things that I'm like sourcing and curating, or like I have my own library. And I know that when I see fabric that I love, I always grab a memo of it because I'm like, I want to do a room and put this fabric in it because I love this fabric so much.
Yeah.
That kind of thing too. Oh,
How
your clients choose you. Your portfolio they design after you persuade them. How do your clients
it's not
choose
really
you?
about persuading them.
Yeah.
It's more, you know, they come to us because I mean, I want people to come to me after they've already seen my work, whether it's from a referral from another client or my website or found me online. I feel like you wanted the client to come to you when they're familiar with you and they already see your work. So you don't really want to persuade them and talk them into it, you know?
Well, I would say definitely people have Googled me and they've seen my website or they've seen me on Instagram or something like that. That's how they kind of say, "Oh, there's something about," because I always ask them. They're like, "I really like what you did in this room," or "I love the color," or, you know, some of it is like, "You got really good testimonials." So, and then I liked your website, so you seem very professional, whatever. So they'll come and then we start having a conversation. And it's like, can I help you? Am I the person that's going to be able to help you? Because not everybody can I help, as I'm
Right.
learning. I mean, I really like what I do. I love helping people. I love transforming rooms, but it's not always a fit. And so it's through that conversation that we have, the initial conversation on the phone, usually, uh, if it's a fit or not, because I'm requiring clients to make an investment. It's not just investment in the design fees, but it's also investment in, how you're going to create this space. You need some money. You got to put some money on the line for this. You're not going to do it otherwise.
Yeah.
And, if they're not willing to put some money down, it's really not a good fit because I don't know how I can help them.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's a good note to end on this week.
Yep,
All
it
right.
is a good one. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. I'm away. Don't miss me.
Have fun in Egypt.
I will. I won't miss me. No, I'm really like the inspiration. I mean, Egypt, come
Oh,
on.
yes. Post a lot
Like,
of good photos on
oh my
Instagram. We want to
goodness.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited. So we'll
Well,
see you guys in 2 weeks.
see you in
Thanks so
2 weeks.
much. Bye.
Bye.